Hi folks, welcome to the channel. Anybody can code. So this is the part video of the channel. So thanks a lot whoever subscribed the channel or whoever watching the video. So we are discussing about what is programming, how to do programming, how to learn programming, how to start coding. So today we have with us Subrat Kumar Swami, who is a computer science graduate, currently pursuing his PhD in University of Queensland on data science and machine learning. So he will be enlightening us about what is programming. So kindly watch the video till the end and do like, share. What is programming does that only indicate coding?
First of all, I would like to describe what is programming. So the programming is kind of an art to write, to write something which will automate our things and accomplish a specific computational task. So by mean the computational task, I mean that certain things are there we know how to compute, but computing that for a very large number or for very large number of iterations needs more effort. So suppose like we know how to find the square of a number, but to find the square of a very large number, uh, we cannot do it in our mind, or we can say in our own hand by manually. We need to use some computational power, and assume that instead of doing one square, we are doing sort of 100 numbers, square of 100 numbers or the 1,000 numbers. We cannot do that manually. We need to take the help of a computer. So for the computer to compute these squares, we need to write a set of instruction, and this set of instruction we can say it is programming. And programming does not mean only coding. Coding is the computer. Coding is can be called computer programming, but programming itself is not defined or like constant to computer itself. We can program a RAM, or we can program any other device. The Enigma machine that was done at first is not a computer, you can say. It's just a hardware. There were no screen. So yeah, programming is kind of automating a thing uh, to do a specific task, to do a specific computational task, and coding is doing the same thing on computer, which can also be called as a computer programming. Yes.
That's the idea about like programming is an overall idea, is coding is a subset of that. That is correct, huh? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. So does the programming language Java or Python plays an important role in programming or coding?
Yes. So I would like to answer this in two part. So the part for the first part is for the beginners. So for a beginner, yes, the programming language does play an important role, because when an individual is getting introduced to this programming or coding domain, so he might not have seen all these things earlier, or all these symbols are quite new to him, and he is not accustomed to this system. So for him, choosing a very simple and very less complex programming language is good to start off, and he can then transfer all the knowledge that he gained in one programming language to another, and it is very easy, and it is easily transferable. The knowledge is easily transferable. But if you see, as an experienced programmer or doing coding for like 2 3 years, programming language doesn't even matter. The idea, or the concept that goes with a problem that matters, and implementing it on a programming language doesn't matter, because as long as a program is Turing complete, it can, like any problem, can be coded with using that programming language. So yeah, for beginners it matters, and for experience it doesn't matter. So I would advise that if you are a beginner, and if you are familiar with these kind of symbols, you should start with C. And if you have never seen such symbols, and like you are very scared of them, you should start with Python. Python is the best if you're a beginner, and then you can move your then you can like pave your path through Java or C++ or anything you want. Yeah.
According to you, then the programming language should be important for the beginners who are starting the journey in coding. So after
like experience, having experience in the coding, there is no like very much important role of programming language. That matters how much you have the logic and all. That's correct.
Right, correct, exactly.
How to get started with the programming as a beginner?
Yes, so for a beginner, I would say first learn the programming language of your choice, and then only start with the concepts. By learning the programming language, I mean you should really know what are all the syntaxes. Although like nowadays syntax completion tools and add-ons are there, but like that may help you get started very easily. But as a beginner, you should know what a variable is and what are its type, and loops, and then functions, classes, and all sort of things that comes with classes, like all the properties and all. So you should learn those things because these are basics, and you cannot go ahead like by skipping all these things. So the best language to learn all these things as a beginner would be C++ and Python. Sorry, C++ and Java. Python kind of encapsulates all these things under the hood. So the concepts that you learn in Python is very less. So it is better like if you're comfortable to start with C++ or Java if you don't scare of, if you're not scared of those symbols. And if you want to take things slow, you can start with Python and then you can go to Java or C++. So yeah, so if you have done with this programming language, like knowing the etiquettes of programming language, then you can go to data structures, algorithms, or anything else like advanced concepts like machine learning and other things. All these things are sort of built on these basic concepts. So you should really master these basic concepts before moving ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, actually, you are a computer science programmer, so how was the beginning of coding for you? Like, is it tough or it was bit easy, or did you struggle or it was like smooth?
No, actually, like I spent around 1 or 2 years like knowing the program itself, C++. So
Yeah,
so it is a very slow start. So I started early, so I could finish better. Uh, because it was in my syllabus, so it took around 1 or 2 years. But if someone wants to try, like I was in 11th or 12th, but if someone wants to try now, like in college, it will be very easy, and it can be completed in short duration, like 3 to 4 months. A programming language can be learned if you're like average student. If you're pro, you can complete it earlier. But the assumption here is that the student is average, not so pro, because pro student will not uh, take that much. Like 2 or 3 months they can do.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Like, so the other student will be not taking any task, so go smoothly and take this time or hard time to learn the programming language and do that one. That's correct.
Yes. Yes.
What is the role of coding in artificial intelligence and machine learning domain?
Yes. So in the AI and ML domain, so recently there are a lot of frameworks that has been developed to tackle all these problems, and you can simply call those frameworks and use those frameworks, and you can get the results. But to implement a new thing, or you can say a novel idea, you need to implement it from the scratch. And for that, you need a knowledge of a programming language as well as the knowledge of data structures and algorithms. But if you are trying out a existing idea, there are a lot of frameworks you can leverage. But like trying out a problem is not generally done in the AI and ML domain. Like you need to pre-process the data, and you need to analyze the data, and you need to train the model. You need to deploy the model. So this is an entire process end to end. So for all these things, the coding is required. Just for the prediction, you can say the coding is not there, like not that much. But if you want to, like in a corporate, you need to do the entire process. And for this entire process, the coding is an essential tool, and you cannot skip that as a beginner. As a beginner, if you want to go into this domain, yes.
Actually, in the industrial area, means on the IT sector, does the AI and ML is like helpful or having the knowledge of artificial intelligence and machine learning is will be helpful in the corporate? or IT sector?
Yeah, yes, like see, I mean, artificial intelligence and machine learning is in hype now, but it will not be like it will be for like next 10 years, I would say, but it will start to decrease because you can say website development was not there before 1990s or something, but in early 2000 and this web development started, and all people went mad on it. And but if you can see now, the web development is there, but it is not hyped. So you can say like machine learning and all these things are there. It is well hyped now, and if you have a skill on that, you will get a better opportunity in that area, and you can advance your career in a better way. But if you know the coding, suppose something else will come after AIML, you can go into that domain also without any worrying about anything because you know the basics.
Suppose one is done with the basics of programming and all, then what to do next?
Okay, so I would say that like just learning the concept is not everything because suppose you learn all these variables and for loops and functions, but you don't know how to use them. Even if you know how to use them, you don't know how to use them in a real world scenario. So applying those concepts in a real world scenario is the best thing you can do. So for that, projects are the best way to communicate and like ideate those things into a real life problem, and get a feel of how projects are done and how they are managed. By projects I mean you shouldn't just go to the internet and start searching projects on this and projects on that. Instead of that, you can just go to like you can just look into your personal life or your environment and find a problem that is computationally expensive, and you should write a program to compute that easily, and do your projects on that, and it will really stand out among others. For example, suppose think of any computational task that you come across in your daily life. Suppose say you want to count the number of times a certain text occurs in your textbook, or you can say certain text occurs in a paragraph or something. You can just parse those paragraphs, like instead of counting it by manually throughout the book, you can just pass those book to the program you write, and you can just count the occurrence of a particular word, or you can count the occurrence of all words in a book, and you can sort of keep that, okay, the occurrence of programming in this book is 80 times or like 100 times or something. This is like an example, but you can like do a very real world application of your knowledge, which will not only use that knowledge you gained, but also help you in your real life in some task or in some assignment. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, so that one question that popped up in my mind, like everybody like says we are not from CS background or computer science background, we are not able to do the coding as much as they do, so we cannot compete with the computer science people. So, is there any like proper like computer science people can do much coding, other people cannot?
No, actually, like before coming to computer science, everyone was like studying physics, chemistry, and mathematics. So there is no computer science background. So they started from the first year, and as you know, the first year is same for everyone in a normal engineering college. So there is no learning in first year. So people started learning in second year, and if you are currently in second or third year, then there is not much of a difference. So you can do that, because I know certain peoples who were preparing for medical, they're completely biology people, and they joined engineering and they joined computer science, and then they made into some sort top companies like Amazon or something. Yeah. And Amazon and all. Yeah. So that doesn't matter as long as you start coding. You cannot know what is there. So should start.